The milkman, the paper boy, evening TV. Did I get delivered here? Somebody tell me, please. This whole world's confusing me. Clouds as mean as you've ever seen. Ain't a bird who knows your dream. Then a little voice inside you whisper, don't sell your dreams so soon. Everywhere you look, everywhere there's a heart, there's a heart. I hear no.
Hello and welcome back to The Grove Cooking Edition. Today, me and Miss Sai are going to show you guys how to make the most bomb mac and cheese. We'll show you our ingredients in a second, and you are going to probably need an adult for this because you're going to have to use an oven, and also we're adding bacon into ours, so we're going to use the stove. If you wanted to do that at home, you'll need an adult, but let's get it going.
Okay, so to make our mac and cheese, there's a few things we're gonna need. We're gonna need some basic elbow macaroni, but if you don't have that kind of macaroni, it's fine. You can use whatever you have. We're also gonna need some butter. We have salted butter. If you have margarine, that'll also work. Just make sure you have a few sticks of these. Gonna need some oil, some salt, and any other seasoning that you guys would like. And then we're also gonna need some flour just to thicken up our cheese in case it's like a soup, and bacon if we want to get really fancy. And of course, the main ingredient is some cheese. Do not forget cheese, my friend.
We have our hot pan here. Again, if you're gonna use something like bacon, like we are today, you're gonna need an adult for that. So we have our hot pan. We're being precautious, and with something like bacon, if you've never cooked it, it's gonna like sizzle and pop at a point. So just be aware of that. You want to kind of drop it in and then kind of keep your distance because you don't want to burn yourself or your hands. So we're gonna drop our first slice in. And then continue to add our slices until our pan is a bit full. And we'll keep an eye on our bacon to make sure it's fully cooked before adding it into our mac and cheese.
So while Miss Danny is making our bacon, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to make our pasta. The first thing you need to do is make sure you have your pan heated on and be super careful of the heat. And the second thing you need to do is pour some water into your pan. Now, when we're pouring our water in, we want to be careful if our pan is hot. And we want to do it nice and slowly because if you do it too fast, it will splash out on you. And you want to pour enough water that's going to cover your pasta. So since we're making pasta for a few of us, I did a little extra, but you're going to want to do about 3 to 4 cups of water for your pasta. When you get your water in here, there's 2 things you want to do. You want to add a little bit of oil just because when you add it, your pasta won't stick together. And we want our pasta as individuals. So just a little bit of that. And we also want to have it seasoned up a little bit, so we're going to add a tiny bit of salt. I'm going to pour some in my hand. And then I'm just going to sprinkle it in. And that's about it until your water is boiling. Okay guys, so now that our water is boiling, and if you have a look, you can see there's a bunch of bubbles starting to come up on the bottom. Our pan is going to be a little different than your guys' pan. So our bubbles are going to look different. But our water is ready to pour the pasta in. So just like this, you're going to need a parent because your water is hot and pouring pasta can make the water splash. And we don't want you to get burned. So go get your parent. We'll wait. I'll pause. Please move. And okay, now we're going to go ahead and pour the pasta in. I am my own adult, so I will be super careful. And I'm going to try to pour it all over my pan. And if you don't want to pour too much, you guys are going to pour 2 cups of pasta. And I'm going to make us a whole bunch.
So besides poured our pasta, we're going to wait for that to be fully cooked. Meanwhile, my bacon is done. I know it's done because I don't see any pink, any raw meat or anything, and it's a lot smaller than it was when we dropped it in the pan. So when you're cooking bacon, it's really greasy. So my tip to you would be to get some tongs like I have and kind of let the grease drip off a little bit, and then set your bacon on like some paper towels so it soaks up just a little bit of that grease because you don't want to eat too much of that. So now this is done and we wait for our pasta.
We are
making our cheese sauce right now. So here are our ingredients, and I'll give you the measurements as we add them in. So first we're gonna start with butter, and we're gonna start with about 2 tablespoons of butter.
And if you look on your butter, when you close the paper, it'll show you just how much there is, so don't stress about it. I know we need 2 tablespoons, so I'm gonna put a little indent, and then I'm gonna cut that off and put it into the fry pan. Now here at San Altos, we have a few friends here that are gonna have some mac and cheese, so I'm gonna go ahead and put extra butter, just so that we have enough for everybody.
All right, after our butter, we're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. So we have some measuring cups here. I'm gonna grab our tablespoon measuring cup right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and measure out 3 tablespoons and plop it into the butter like so.
Now when you put the flour in, you're gonna wanna make sure you mix it up into the butter, because if you don't, it'll clump and you're gonna just have one little pile of flour. So make sure you're stirring it as you have that in there.
All right, next we are going to add a cup, 1 cup and 1/4 of milk to that mixture right there. So we're gonna open up our milk here and start our measurements.
And since we added some extra butter, I'm gonna go ahead and add some extra flour too, just to be safe.
All right, here's our milk.
Now just like when we pour other stuff, we're gonna wanna pour it slowly in so that it doesn't splash up. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna keep on mixing all the liquid until everything is blended together.
And here is our 4th cup measurement.
Awesome.
Alright, so now we're down to our final
While Miss Star gets us a new utensil, there's a bag of cheese here. It's 2 cups worth. Our recipe is gonna call for 1.5 cups. So I'm just gonna eyeball it because like who doesn't love cheese? So we're just gonna add our cheese into our mixture here, evenly distribute it out. And once we get a new stirring tool, we'll stir that in and get it thickened up for our pasta, which will turn into mac and cheese.
So as our cheese sauce is thickening up, we're gonna go ahead and add some seasoning. Over here at San Altos, we're gonna put some parsley. We like to be fancy.
Other seasonings you can add is the basics, salt and pepper, the 2 things that most everybody wants in their dishes. So we have a little bit of salt here. We added parsley just for extra flavor. If you guys wanted to make it spicy, you can put red pepper flakes in it, or even green onions, stuff like that. You can alter this recipe to what your taste desires. Also, just be aware when you're cooking your sauce, keep your heat down low, otherwise it's gonna burn. And we're adding our pasta slow and steady. We don't want to lose any of our shells.
Woo! Love that. And now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna just start mixing the cheese sauce into our pasta.
So our shells are mixed into our cheese, and now we're just gonna take our hands and crumple up some bacon to give it that extra boom.
Delicious.
If you wanted to be more precise with your bacon bits, you can cut them up with a knife, but if you're gonna do that, definitely ask an adult. If you don't wanna have to do that and bother your parents, then you can just do what I'm doing and use your hands and crumple it and drop. So, it's the best time of cooking. It's taste test time. We have all of our bacon mixed in there. Our cheese is all melted, so I got myself a bowl right here. And you know what? I like to eat mac and cheese because it keeps my brain sharp. Alright, so this is hot, so I'm gonna blow on it a little bit, but here we go. That is definitely some really good mac and cheese. Thanks, Miss Sai.
So when you guys make your mac and cheese, we'd love to see it. We wish you were here making it with us, but since you're at home, please share photos of your mac and cheese to Class Dojo. And if you're on our Zoom watching this, make sure you point your camera at your delicious mac and cheese, because it ain't that easy being this cheesy.
Oh!